Hi, today we are going to learn about section 9.5, trigonometric functions. I think you have probably seen the operations sin, cos, and tan in your calculator. So now, let me explain you what all does that mean. As you can see here, you have your right triangle, which we name A, B, C. You can see your right angle, this angle that we name it Y, and this angle that we name it X. Okay. You have to use the following to find the measurements. Okay. As you can see, you can find the sine, cosine, and tangent of each of the angles except the right angle. Let's find the sine, cosine, and the tangent of y. As you can see, sine is the opposite. So it's A divided the hypotenuse, that is C. The cosine is the adjacent side, that is B, over the hypotenuse. And finally, the tangent is the opposite side, A, divided the adjacent side, that is B. Now you replace these letters with numbers to find your sine, cosine, and tangent. Now let's try with angle X. For X, your sine is the opposite, B, over your hypotenuse. The cosine is the adjacent, that is A, over the hypotenuse, that is C, and the tangent is the opposite, that is B, over your adjacent, that is A.
Hey guys and girls, we meet again! And this time, before we start with the exercises, I will teach you a new word, SOHCAHTOA. What does it mean? Well, so means the sine is equal to the opposite side over the hypotenuse, and the cosine is the adjacent side over the hypotenuse. So let's see in a triangle. You see? So this is the right angle, and this will be the two acute angles. Now let's name this A and this B. So C. Now the sine of B would be the opposite side, which would be this side, over the hypotenuse, this side. Now the cosine of B would be the adjacent side, this side, over the hypotenuse again. And the tangent would be the opposite side, this one, over the adjacent side. The same goes for A. The sine would be the opposite side, this one, over the hypotenuse. And the cosine would be the adjacent side, this side, over hypotenuse. And the tangent of A would be the opposite side over adjacent side. So now we start with the first exercise. What is this one? Well, this is a triangle with angles A, B, C, side lengths of X, Y, Z, and we will find the sine, cosine, and the tangent of B and C. Now, you can try it by yourselves with the tools I've given you. We can find sine of B. Well, sine is defined as opposite over hypotenuse. So, the opposite of angle B is X. So, X over the hypotenuse, in this case, Y. The cosine of B is defined as the adjacent side over the hypotenuse. The adjacent side of B in this triangle is Z. So, Z over the hypotenuse, Y. And the tangent of B is the opposite side over the adjacent side. The opposite side of B is X and the adjacent side is Z. Now we're done with sine, cosine and tangent of B. Now let's do it for C. Now you can try it by yourselves. So, sine of C. As before, opposite over hypotenuse. Opposite side, Z. Z over hypotenuse, Y. Cosine of C is adjacent side over hypotenuse. Adjacent side would be X over hypotenuse, Y. And the tangent of C is opposite over adjacent sides. So, opposite side would be Z over adjacent side X. So now we are going to start with exercise number 2. So as you can see here is another triangle. It is a right triangle. Now we will find sine, cosine and tangent of S and T, which are the acute angles. Now, sine of S. Sine, as always, is defined as opposite over hypotenuse. So, this would mean opposite side of S is 3. The hypotenuse of the triangle is 5. Cosine of S. Well, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. The adjacent side of S is 4. And the hypotenuse again is 5. The tangent of S would be the opposite side over the adjacent side. So, the opposite side would be 3, right? And the adjacent side would be 4. Now we're done with 3 of the angle S. Now we need to find angle T. Angle T is the same, opposite over hypotenuse, but opposite of angle T would be 4 over the hypotenuse, which stays the same, 5. The cosine of T is adjacent side over hypotenuse. So adjacent side of T would be 3 over the hypotenuse 5, and the tangent of T would be the opposite side over the adjacent side. Opposite side of T is 4 and the adjacent side is 3.